The following content has been generated with artificial intelligence under minimal human supervision. The data presented may contain errors or inaccuracies. The opinions expressed in this content do not necessarily reflect the vision, position, or values of DigiAll. We recommend verifying critical information with additional sources before making decisions based on this content.
Welcome to DigiAll Tech News. Today is December 2nd, 2025. I'm Kylie Brooks, and this is where technology becomes clear and engaging. Apple shakes up its AI leadership yesterday, bringing in a Google and Microsoft veteran as organizational troubles mount. Nvidia unveils open AI models for autonomous driving that think like humans before they act. Google's AI advantage isn't just better technology, it's everything the company already knows about you. Bitcoin's biggest corporate holder admits it might have to sell as prices slump and correlation with traditional markets hits record highs. Netflix removes a feature millions use daily, and users are not happy about it. Let's start with Apple, and honestly, this one's been brewing for a while. Yesterday, the company announced that John Giannandrea is stepping down as AI chief after 7 years at the helm. Now here's what's interesting. His replacement is Amar Subramanya, who spent 16 years at Google and most recently led engineering for Gemini Assistant at Google before a stint at Microsoft. So Apple is essentially bringing in someone who knows exactly what their biggest competitors are doing in AI. That's strategic, right? But let's be real. This change comes at a rough time. Apple Intelligence, which launched back in October of last year, has been, let's just say, underwhelming. There was that notification summary feature that literally made up news, like falsely reporting someone shot themselves or announcing a darts championship winner before it actually happened. The BBC actually had to complain about it. And Siri? The overhaul was supposed to be this big thing, but according to Bloomberg, when Craig Federighi tested it before launch, it just didn't work. They had to delay it indefinitely, and now iPhone 16 buyers are filing lawsuits. Earlier this year, Tim Cook actually moved Siri oversight away from Giannandrea and took robotics away from his team too. Reports talk about communication breakdowns, budget issues, and employees literally mocking the AI group as AI/ML-less. Meanwhile, researchers are leaving for OpenAI, Google, and Meta. The bottom line? Apple is now reportedly using Google's Gemini model for the next Siri version. Subramanya has a big job ahead, catching Apple up while managing their privacy-first approach, which means smaller on-device models instead of massive cloud-based ones. It's a trade-off between capability and privacy, and Apple's betting on privacy. We'll see if it pays off. Now let's talk about something actually exciting. Nvidia just dropped some serious autonomous driving tech yesterday at the Noor IPS AI conference in San Diego. They announced Alpamayo R1, which they're calling the first vision language action model specifically for autonomous driving research. What does that mean in plain English? It's an AI that can see images, understand text, and then make driving decisions, kind of like giving a car common sense. It's built on Nvidia's Cosmos Reason model, which thinks through decisions before acting. You know, like how a human driver would see a situation and reason through what to do next, not just react automatically. This is crucial for level 4 autonomy. That's where a car can fully drive itself in specific areas under certain conditions. No human needed. The model is open source, available on GitHub and Hugging Face, so researchers can actually work with it. Nvidia also released the Cosmos Cookbook with step-by-step guides and tools for developers to customize these models. This all fits into Nvidia's big push into physical AI, robots and vehicles that interact with the real world. CEO Jensen Huang and Chief Scientist Bill Daly have been talking about this a lot lately, and it makes sense. Nvidia's already powering AI training. Now they want to power the robots and cars that AI runs on. It's a smart move, and honestly, this feels like the kind of AI advancement that could actually change how we get around in the next few years. Here's a story that should make you think about what you're trading for convenience. Robbie Stein, VP of Product for Google Search, was on a podcast recently talking about Google's AI strategy. And he basically said the quiet part out loud. Google's AI edge isn't just better technology, it's all the data they already have on you from Gmail, Calendar, Drive, your browsing history, location data, photos, all of it. Their AI excels at personalized recommendations and advice because, as Stein put it, there's a huge opportunity for our AI to know you better and then be uniquely helpful because of that knowledge. Since Gemini, that's what they renamed Bard, integrated with Google Apps, we've seen features like deep research pulling from your personal data and Gemini embedding into workspace tools to summarize emails, schedule meetings, pull info from documents. It's incredibly useful, right? But here's the thing. The article compares this to a TV series called Pluribus, where an invasive AI system called Others anticipates your needs using all your personal details. And that's kind of uncomfortable when you think about it. Unlike features you opt into, opting out of this might be really difficult as AI gets baked into everything Google does. You can manage app connections in Gemini settings, and Google does warn you not to input sensitive data because human reviewers might see it. But still, this is a lot of access. Stein suggests transparency, like flagging when responses are personalized, and proactive features like deal notifications based on your search history. The vision is super useful AI, but the privacy tension is real. How much are we willing to let Google know about us for that convenience? That's the question we all need to answer for ourselves. Let's switch gears to crypto. Bitcoin's been on a wild ride, and not the good kind. Yesterday, Strategy, that's what MicroStrategy renamed itself to, created a $1.44 billion cash reserve from stock sales. Why? To cover preferred stock dividends and debt interest for at least a year. They're the biggest corporate Bitcoin holder with $56 billion in Bitcoin assets. Their forecast for the year? Depending on where Bitcoin's price ends up, they could see anywhere from a $5.5 billion loss to a $6.3 billion profit. That's a massive range. Bitcoin's down 31% since its peak on October 6th, while Strategy's stock has dropped 53%. Their correlation is now 0.97, basically moving in lockstep, up from 0.55 earlier in the year. Yesterday, Bitcoin dipped over 5% to around $86,000. CEO Fong Lei said on a podcast Friday that they'd only sell Bitcoin as a last resort if their multiple to net asset value falls below 1. It's currently at 1.19, down from 2.5 last year, and only if they have no other funding options. He emphasized they're reluctant because selling would hurt the ecosystem and the narrative around Bitcoin. But here's the reality check. Lai still forecasts 40 to 50% annualized returns for Bitcoin over the next 4 to 5 years, calling it an amazing non-sovereign store of value with limited supply. Strategy's shares are down 38% this year. The big picture? Bitcoin's growing correlation with traditional markets is worrying investors. It's supposed to be a hedge, but right now it's moving with everything else. That's not what believers signed up for. And finally, let's talk about Netflix doing what Netflix does, taking away features people actually use. They've discontinued support for casting videos from your phone to your TV. This was announced on their help page. An Android authority noticed it first. Now you can't use your phone to control playback on the TV. No play, pause, rewind, volume, captions, nothing. You have to use the TV app and remote for everything. People on Reddit are not happy, especially those who authenticate on their phone because of account sharing restrictions, and found it way more convenient to browse and cast from their phone. A Netflix spokesperson told Wired they retired the feature due to low usage, though they didn't share any actual usage data, so they could invest in more valuable aspects. Here's the thing, casting isn't available on ad-supported tiers anyway, and it's only still working on pre-2020 Google Chromecasts for premium users. But Google's phased out Chromecast, and most modern TVs have Netflix built in, so Netflix is basically saying, use our TV app, not your phone. This aligns with their broader revenue strategies, price hikes, password sharing crackdowns, and users feel like it's just reducing accessibility. Netflix denies it's tied to anti-sharing efforts, saying it's purely about low usage. But the timing is interesting. For a lot of people, myself included, being able to browse on your phone and quickly cast something to the TV was just easier. Now that convenience is gone, and it's another frustration in the Netflix experience. So that's what's happening in tech right now. Apple's scrambling to catch up in AI. Nvidia's pushing the boundaries of autonomous driving. Google's leveraging your data for personalization. Bitcoin's volatility is making even the biggest believers nervous. And Netflix is taking away features in the name of simplification. As always, we'll keep watching these stories as they develop. Thank you for staying informed with Digital Tech News. We'll be back with more updates as they develop.